great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate it. Appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday morning. And speaking of first time, for those of you all who have been joining us, tune in from day one. The guy who helped start this thing, Michael Watson, was the W with Walls and Watson. Mike, what's happening, man?
What's going on, my brother?
Man, it's good to have you in the studio, man.
I'm just humbled to be here, bro. And congratulations on 6 years, man. This is amazing of what you started, man, and pulling me in and get an opportunity just to work with you and seeing where you have grown into now, man. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm happy for you, seriously.
Appreciate it. Jazz, how was your week?
It was good. We had a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Quick week, being at the combine early in the week, and then the rest of the week, I feel like I was just recovering from that, but it was good.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about on today's show. We're going to dive into some of the things Mike has going on. And also, we spent some time, as you said, Jazz, in Indianapolis earlier this week. And the combine, that was, our third year going? Second year, yeah. And it was some stories that happened that were in Indianapolis that we'll dive into. And coming up here in about 10 minutes, we'll talk about the Ravens star Lamar Jackson. Negotiations seem to be getting worse for the Ravens. Yeah, that's what I said too. And things are not going well for Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant. I'd like to hear Mike's take on this. We'll dive into that. And the NFL Player Treatment Survey ranking NFL teams has been released, and we'll see where the Chiefs rank on that list. You excited about that, Jess?
Yeah.
All right.
I already know, but it'll be interesting.
All right. Plus, coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week during our Head of the 11th segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on The W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Like we had said, we attended the 2023 NFL Draft Combine earlier this week. Had a chance to talk to Chiefs head coach Andy Reid and GM Brett Veach. What were some of the takeaways for you, Steve?
I think the Chiefs now, they understand, what it takes. And just talking to Brett Veach earlier this week, is this a point in time where it's a make or break for the Chiefs? No. Is this a point where Brett Veach understands, like, I get how to do this. I've been doing this a few years now. I have Andy Reid. I have the coaches who have my back. And we have a heck of a front office, right? He's a part of that front office. And then Andy Reid, too, as being a part of that coaching staff. I think they understand what their needs are. They know what they want to get. And right now, it's not about a specific player that they're going to get. It's about the position. And I think the way that they've worked in this draft and in the previous drafts is the fact that they coach guys up. They have their rookies who come in and are able to start right away. And so I think they understand exactly what they need, and it's just the best player available in the draft.
Definitely. And I think even sitting there talking with them in some of the conferences, it seemed routine almost. Like it seemed, okay, we know what we need to do. Every single year we go into this. And it seemed like they're seasoned. Like when they when they're talking about the pressure of now going into the draft, when they've already had set these expectations in the past, they were like, that's what we do every year.
Exactly.
Like, so it didn't even seem like there was a sense of urgency, but it's also like nice knowing that, because obviously you're doing something right.
Exactly. And Mike, I asked Andy and Brett, does it have any added pressure, right? Like, you've got 10 rookies last year, 11 rookies, 10 of those guys were playing because they needed to play. Does that make any added pressure for those guys to you?
Well, I think not only having the rookies brings the pressure, but I think the time and where we are, you have Kelsey coming on probably down at the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
You have Andy Reid, who may be transitioning in the next couple of years.
Right.
So you have an opportunity to really capitalize on the dynasty that the Chiefs have. And so I think the draft is important on bringing in the players who can help solidify the foundation, possibly in the secondary. I know we have cornerbacks who are young and not costing us a lot right now, but you got to shore up that secondary. You got to shore up that safety position, and you got to get a edge rusher who can really dominate on the edge.
No Frank Clark?
I think Clark did what he can do for us. I think, he came up big in the playoffs for sure, but you got to have somebody who's more consistent during the regular season who can really change the game, because if you have somebody coming off that edge, it totally changes the game plan for the offense. Yeah. And for us, I think we need that, coming in this next season.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think that's the biggest and most important position that they need to fill? I know we talked a little bit about the backup quarterback position too, Steve.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I think even with the backup quarterback, you've got to, and like Andy Reid says, he doesn't call him a backup.
That's
because
right.
at any moment's notice, he has to be ready to go in.
Right.
And then you have a guy like Patrick, who has been, he's escaped a lot of injuries. Like some of his injuries or you think about the kneecap.
Yeah.
On the 4th and 1. You think about last year with the ankle. That could have been an easily ACL tear.
Yeah.
That could have been a broken ankle. So he's escaped a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, for sure.
And now you got to understand, like, okay, we see that and we see what kind of player Patrick is. He takes chances. So we got to have somebody that's able to go in there and get it done right away.
Is that a Marcus Mariota? Is that someone of that caliber, or is it someone we may not know yet, or somebody we haven't on our roster already? What do you think?
That's a good question, because asking Brett about that, what kind of caliber of guy do you want to bring in?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's just, you want to get a guy that can challenge Patrick, first of all, in the film room, challenge him in the locker room. Not a guy that is, you have some rookies who can come in and get it done, but you want to get a guy that Patrick's done everything that he can do. He's won 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So now it's like, all right, we need someone who he'll listen to. It's not going to be very many people. Yeah, it's not going to be very many people that he'll be able to listen to.
So did the report come out? Is this true that Alex Smith is coming back? Or I saw that floating around. Was that?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
You know, as a quarterback coach, I think that would be a good move, but I don't know if that's what Alex Smith wants to do.
Yeah, you think he's
a TV? I think he wants to do more of the TV thing. Yeah, more money in it.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Who do you think are good options then that he would respect and listen to? I know we debated on this a little bit, but
what about Chase Daniels?
I said
Chase Daniels. I was thinking about Chase, Mizzou guy.
It'd have to be someone who I think Chase is on his way out of the league. Like Chase is a little older.
I mean, Henny was as well. I mean, so that kind of may be a perfect fit. He can still come in and dip and dink.
But Henny had been proven. Like Chase,
true.
Chase has always been a backup. Henny was a starter at one point. And so I think, it's not going to be very many. What about Aaron Rodgers? No, it's not going to be very many people that can QBs that can come in and actually, get the respect from Patrick. Even though I think Patrick will say, I respect him. He's going to be a good addition to this team. I just don't think it's very many guys.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's going to be tough.
And even coming in, like, think about the locker room aspect. So, like, everybody knows, like, it is Mahomes' room. Like, so coming in, how is somebody supposed to navigate that? Like, yes, you're supposed to listen to me, but at the same time, like, this is your world. We're just living in it. Who's going to adopt that role? Like,
yeah.
And the brotherhood, like we've talked about so many times, the brotherhood, how they all kick it, they get along. Like, who do you think could actually genuinely adopt that trait?
I think anybody who comes in has to acclimate themselves to the locker room. That's one thing. This is Patrick Mahomes' team, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones.
Yeah.
You know that. So that makes it easier for you to fit in and find your niche, in a locker room, because those guys have it nailed down. They know what it takes to win at the top. So they've proven that. And so I think people coming in, I think they'll change themselves, versus having Patrick and those guys have to adjust.
Steve?
I agree. I mean, I don't think you look in the draft to see what you can get. I mean, you probably can get someone in the 6th round, undrafted maybe. I mean, they're good at that. Look at Isaiah Pacheco, like 6th rounder.
Monster.
Who would have thought? From Rutgers. Yeah. I mean, but so that just goes to show you that they have some scouts out there that are looking. So I think they have some ideas on guys. Do you want to give up somebody to get a backup quarterback? I mean, I think that may be an option. You have 11 draft picks this year.
I don't know if you give up for a backup quarterback. I think you just kind of keep thanking the football guys for what we have now.
Yeah.
You got to prepare for it. I think we have a young guy on our roster, young quarterback on our roster who I forget his name right now, but he was okay. He wasn't bad. I felt like he showed some flashes last year in the
Chambers.
Yeah. So some flashes of got a strong arm. He's mobile. And really in a backup situation, you want a quarterback who's a dual threat. You don't want a quarterback who's just in the pocket because you don't know the whole playbook. Mm-hmm. You're not comfortable. You got to be able to get out there and scramble sometimes when it calls for it. You've seen that in Tennessee. You see that, work out in Baltimore with guys who can come in, who have legs, who can, make a play when they need to.
Yeah,
definitely. Now, like we said at the Combine, we got to see the media really get into action in real life, which was one of my first biggest experiences personally. But Georgia's Jalen Carter pulled from media interviews at the NFL Combine with the news that he was left the scene of a fatal crash resulting in arrest warrants issued Wednesday. Some more along those lines that are getting a little sticky with the case.
Yeah.
Steve, your thoughts?
I understand the way media moves, right? Like we were in the car getting ready to go into the convention center. And the way that the Combine works is the position groups, they meet as like a group to be interviewed by the media. And so 9 of the defensive linemen in that position group, I think it was group 2, they were set to meet at 10:30. Well, 10:20, this news broke of, Jalen Carter is wanted for arrest, has an arrest warrant for him in Georgia for the racing and the death of teammate. And so I'm like, Jazz, you see this? And so we get in there and they, of course the players are sitting down and pull, right. The NFL is like, nope, we're not going with that. You guys aren't going to be able to ask all, because first of all, the players aren't, they've been mentored on how to handle media, but they aren't versed into answer questions like that.
Not at all. I think one, the situation overall, you have to be respectful of the young people who passed away in that car accident.
You do.
But at the same time, the fact that the media was sitting on this report, the fact that the officials decided to wait until that morning, knowing he was going to be there, and then on 2 misdemeanors. They're not felony charges. They're 2 misdemeanors, things that he will likely plead down to and might possibly get community service. So things that weren't that big of a deal. You see how they wanted to make it a big deal, to make it a splash. Unfortunately, to make their case off of this young man who's probably could be a first pick in the draft. And so it's unfortunate that happens, but you guys move in media all the time and you see it. But again, that's a side of media that I just don't agree with, trying to make a splash off the backs of someone and then off the tragic situation. I just didn't agree with that. Yeah,
definitely. And even throughout the week, we made comments to each other like, could you imagine this is one of the biggest weeks of your life leading up to it? The anxiety, you're thinking about what shoes do I wear? What's the right move to make? And then for somebody to come in at that very moment and that this week leading up, because that was 3 days before he's even running drills. Like you're not even at the point where they're really counting the numbers yet. So it's really just it gave the vibes of playing with somebody's head. And I really could not get with that, watching it all unravel in front of us.
And even asking general manager of the Washington Commanders talked to John Harbaugh, head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, asked him, what is their philosophy on when kids make mistakes? Because they're still kids at the end of the day.
Really?
What's their philosophy on when these guys in college are making that mistake? Do they look at it as, is it their personality or is it their character, or how do they separate their character from a guy who just made a bad choice?
Right.
And they both said, we see what type of person they are. We go all the way back and we try to interview them and ask them just questions to figure out who they are, because we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. And so that's what they, said that they look at.
That's a great answer, Bill. You're dealing with young men who run as fast as they can and as hard as they can to another human being. Something is going to not be right in their mind. That off top as a football guy, you understand that. And so you look for that. That's an edge that you look for when you're drafting their ability and their willingness to take a risk, and unfortunately you have to compound that and say, oh, is this something that this person is a precursor to their behavior, or is it something that was just a mistake that can be corrected with the proper mentorship? Because like you said, Steve, these are kids. These are 19-year-old, 20-year-old. I have kids older than these young people. And so it's like you're going out there and handing these guys millions of dollars. The responsibility that comes with that, they're not fully prepared for that.
Right.
And even before that moment, NIL deals, they're seeing thousands before they even get there.
Thousands of dollars.
Right, millions.
Literally.
And at 21, 20,
Can we go back? Can we wake up and be born in 2000 again?
What would you like going back to that? Like, what would you feel like NIL deal? Would it be like a drink sponsor? Would it be like a Gatorade or something? Like, who would you try to get as a drink?
I don't care. I just want half a bag. I want half a ticket for whatever I do. I can sell chicken wings and be vegan. I don't care. I mean, it's amazing.
Like wings and things. Holla at me.
I'm telling you, every day.
And to that point with the combine, obviously that we got the draft coming up in Kansas City. Do you think it affects his draft pick, where he falls? How do you think that goes down?
I don't think so at all. I think they're going to look at this and because it's misdemeanors, right? Because he didn't hit anybody, he didn't do anything. He probably made a call and said, "Hey, get out of there." That's how that works at that level in college football. Hey, get out of there. You didn't, you weren't involved in it. Now they pulling this stuff back. I think it's going to be pleaded down. It may be dismissed. I think it's going to be that kind of thing. But the NFL teams are not going to pass on that kind of talent based off of this. Nothing super egregious. He didn't cause the accident or anything like that. So I don't think it affects his status at all.
And it's a lot of money floating around there in Georgia.
A lot of money.
So, that's one thing that the University of Georgia does not want, is that microscope coming down on them as an institution. So I don't think there'll be anything, but let him drop to number 32. Let him drop. You talk about defensive end,
man. Come on,
let him drop.
He ain't dropping at all. He ain't gonna drop past 3.
You don't think so?
Heck no.
All right,
I don't think so.
we'll see.
I have to agree. And I just think whenever it comes to stats, we want to look at stats and everything, and nobody wants to look at this. And I feel like it's real. Like, how many guys in the league already or pending this situation have DUI charges, have some type of misdemeanor charge? Like, let's be real with that.
Yeah.
And it's the time, and like, yeah, it's heightened now just because it's combine time. But if this was any other point in time or looking at any other athlete, would it be as big of a deal?
And not only that, but these guys have to smarten up.
Oh, for sure.
Like you saw what happened with Henry Ruggs.
Yep.
In Vegas. You saw it was a drunk driving, leaving Topgolf late at night, speeding.
Flying.
You saw what can happen.
Yeah.
And so I think these guys need to have and we talked about Chris Carter, where he was, was a few years back, and he talked about having a fall guy.
Yeah.
Well, even better than that, you have to have someone that's in your corner that's telling you no
beforehand.
Yeah, you got to have that. And so they've got to figure it out. And I think with better situation to have all these young players, and it was like, man, next could happen to me. This could be me.
Exactly. It's a crossroads opportunity, and it happens a lot in your life especially when you're young. You get an opportunity to get to the crossroad and say, if I'm going this way, my life could be this way. If I go this way, it could turn out not like I planned it. And so I think for him, it's a learning opportunity. And not only for him, like you said, for the players around him as well. I agree.
Definitely. Now, Lamar might be learning a few things right now. Baltimore Ravens QB Lamar Jackson's negotiations seem to be getting worse from the Ravens. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
Man, you know what? It's crazy because we talked to John Harbaugh at the combine, and he's all about, I love Lamar. This is between the front office and Lamar. No, Coach Harbaugh, you have enough seniority to be able to say, no, this is my team. If you guys want me to be here, you want me to be the head coach of this team, I need Lamar. Because who else are you going to try to risk it for the biscuit and okay, we'll take what we can get as far as draft picks for Lamar? No, that's a quarterback. We've seen it takes a good quarterback in this NFL to be able to win.
To compete.
Yes. And if you don't have the quarterback, you're not going to just throw anybody out there and throw a rookie. We've seen what happens with rookies. They get chewed up and spit out.
They do.
So, yeah, I don't see them trying to – if they go away from Lamar Jackson, it's not going to be good.
He's a generational talent.
Yeah.
He's not just, a Garoppolo. He's not one of those guys who's going to come out there and just, dink and dunk and, matriculate down the football field. He can change the game in so many ways, put pressure on the defense. And for the Ravens to be kind of balking and stalling in those negotiations doesn't fare well for their organization. No one is going to get to Watson's numbers in Cleveland. And that's an anomaly. We know that. We understand that. But you got to be able to get him around that right underneath Patrick, that above my guy for the Giants, who they're talking about 40 plus in his deal right now, the Dak Prescott deal. And these guys aren't winners. This guy's an MVP. You know what I mean? And so for you to be playing around with him, you're not showing how serious you are and how impactful that losing him can actually be.
And not only that, too, a lot of these guys are now going to want guaranteed deals.
You got to give me my money, dude.
And Lamar, and one of the things that I heard John Harbaugh say is like Lamar's representing himself. Sometimes you don't want when you're talking with an agent, it's kind of like the middleman.
Yeah.
So you're able to say some things like, "Oh, well, Lamar's this."
Yeah.
Instead of having that relationship with Lamar, you can't really tell him. You can, but you want to tread lightly with that.
But he's smart. He has an attorney that's with him in those negotiations who looks at the actual contract language. But he's negotiating for himself, which is extremely intelligent, because you can't come to me and say, "Oh, well, he's injury prone and he's this and he's that." Who do you have, like you said, Steve? Who do you have that can come in and actually make a difference immediately for that team? No one. You don't have it.
You don't.
So give my man his money, and quit playing.
Now let's hear what Ravens GM had to say about the ongoing negotiations with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar and I are talking. We met recently. It's an ongoing discussion. We both understand the urgency of the situation. It's been a good dialogue, a good discussion. I'm optimistic, as I continue to be optimistic, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, well, you have a lot of regard for the player first and foremost. I think when you deal with an agent, sometimes you're able to speak, very freely. position yourself a certain way. You have different arguments that you can use that maybe you wouldn't say to a player, or, so I think that's part of it. There's a lot of respect, tremendous respect, because I'm with a player like Lamar, a player like Roquan Smith, who also represented himself every day. You see the commitment, you understand where they're coming from.
I think it's a lot of blowing smoke.
That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get a deal done, you're going to get it done no matter what. If he's your quarterback of the future, you're going to break the bank for him no matter what.
I don't think they believe that.
Yeah.
I'm just being real with you. I don't think they believe that. I think they wonder how, because he is mobile, is he going to take a big hit that's going to put him out, or are they going to be on the hook for that guaranteed money? Yeah. I don't believe they believe it. I think they want to get him on those yearly deals. What's it called? I'm slipping my mind. Franchise him.
Yeah.
They want to franchise him right now in order to see what happens. And Lamar ain't having that. And that's smart. You can't. You got to press their buttons. Like, if not, trade me. Because there's teams out there that will take him, sign him right now to everything take him everything that he wants.
Of course, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So they may have another year with it. I love the fact that
Green Bay will take him. By Aaron.
He bet on himself this year. I love that. So
rightfully so. Now, Ravens GM was also asked about his wide receivers as well. Let's hear his comments and some tweet remarks that were deleted minutes later. Now, they were, how about you play to your player's strength and stop pointing the finger at us? And number 8, Bateman wrote, the one you let to do this, we take heat 24/7, keep us healthy, tired of y'all lying and capping on players for no reason.
Wow. Who said this?
So this was from Bateman.
Okay.
And then after he took it was taken down, and then he tweeted out my apologies with the hugging emoji.
Yeah, so
it's real out here.
So it was the GM DaCosta's comments, and we have the comments. Go ahead and play it.
I would say a lot of people would say the same thing. It's a challenging position to evaluate in different ways. I don't have if I had an answer, that means I would probably have some better receivers, I guess. We keep trying. I think there's a lot of things that go along with that position. Sometimes it is tied to the quarterback. And I think it's tied to things like durability. It's tied to, a lot of things. We're going to keep swinging. There have been some guys that, have been successful.
Yeah. If I'm a wide receiver, if I'm DeMarcus Robinson, for instance, wide receiver for the former Chiefs wide receiver, now is a wide receiver in Baltimore, and he says that, oh, we've been swinging, we've been trying, maybe I have some better receivers. I'm looking at him like, dude, I know you pay my right name is on my checks, but look, man, like, come on.
That's disrespectful. I think that's he put his foot in his mouth. As a GM, you never say that. You never, throw your players under the bus, because they're playing for your organization, and really doesn't fall on the players. It falls on the GM. You're responsible for making the moves, for getting the players in there who you feel are the best fit. It's up to the coaches to put them in the best position. So everything falls underneath his umbrella as a leader. That's a poor comment for a leader.
Yeah, and that's why he got the response from Bateman that he got.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I would have taken it down. I mean, organization would probably hit him like, yo, take that down. But they gotta have a conversation now. Like, look, be clear about what you mean. And in today's society and atmosphere, you gotta be straightforward when you're dealing with people. You're dealing with men out here. You're dealing with men who are sacrificing their bodies and putting themselves in danger every single day. And for you to have a kind of flippant comment like that's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
And what type of impression does that give to the quarterback and the wide receiver relationship too? Like, that it's pointing fingers versus us versus the problem instead of us versus
anybody who's thinking about coming to Baltimore to play with Lamar if he's still there. They're looking like, yo, bro, I don't want that kind of action.
Right.
You don't want that energy around you.
Yeah.
Now, Memphis Grizzlies star has had some interesting energy. Ja Morant allegedly punched Teen a dozen times, flash gun. A police report says the Memphis Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant has been accused of punching a teen in a little pickup basketball altercation. You guys' thoughts on this one?
Man, I've been in that situation where you're playing pickup basketball at the height of your career. You're playing with some jokers who kind of want to go at you, kind of want to prove themselves. Ja has to be smarter. And he's a young guy. You know, he's kind of brash and he's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. We don't know if the reports are true, if this actually happened. You know, was it last summer? So why is it just now coming out kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have seen him on social media with a kind of a gun, but guns aren't illegal. You know, you
Right.
can possess a firearm, but it's just the what he's putting out there, that kind of energy, that kind of, you know, this is who I am kind of thing. Like, Ja, that's not you. We know that. Like, we know your dad, and you a good dude. Your dad's a good guy. You're not the tough guy. You know, you're not coming out there. That's not who you are, so don't play it. It's like you in Memphis, and now you're part of CMG. Like, what? Like, who are you right now? Like, you know, it makes no sense, but that shows you the influence that the culture can have on you, where it can change, you know, relatively good dudes into thinking of somebody that they're really not.
And money changes it too.
Man,
look, I mean, he's been paid, and now you got to move in a different direction, in a different way.
You
can't keep the same guys that you're asking. Oh, should I do it? He asked his homie, should I do it to him? Should I? And his homie was like, yeah, Ja, go ahead, man.
Don't make no sense.
You don't want those flunkies around you, man. Like, and then, you know, at the end of the day, why do you have these teenage kids coming to your house playing pickup?
Exactly.
It's going to end in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't grown up yet. You know, he's a father, and so you would think that would be something that would kind of point you in the right direction. But and that's going to come from his father. But you see how his father acts sometimes, where the lights come on, and now he think it's about him. It's a weird dynamic when you don't have that leadership. So that's going to be somebody who's a vet on his team. I don't know if they have that vet on their team, but it's going to be coming from the organization, or if it has to come from the NBA, that's a whole different thing. The NBA will have security follow you. They don't play when it comes to their stars, and he's one of their superstars that they're banking on the future with. After LeBron, you know, he's the Luka Doncic, and after KD, he's one of those guys with Donovan Mitchell, you know, Jason Tatum, that he's a face of the league. So he has to move differently.
And it's going to take someone like a LeBron to take him up under his wing, like Kobe did with a bunch of guys. Like, man, look, this is what I did.
Yep.
You can't, and LeBron maybe LeBron isn't the right guy for that, because he's had the unblemished record. Like, he hasn't had anything happen. So, but then there's another story that our producer just sent to me with Adrian Wojnarowski. He said that Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant was seen on his own Instagram Live displaying a gun while in a nightclub early Saturday morning. And so the NBA
at the nightclub.
And it said,
is that where that came from?
We are aware of a social media post involving Ja Morant, and we are investigating.
Is he just trying to get kicked out of the league? What are you trying to go play in the what are you trying to go overseas? What are you trying to do? Because
now, well,
you got a gun in the club, which is illegal.
So now all of these accusations and everything, they all become true.
Right.
Yeah.
If your video with the gun, oh, you did that.
Yeah. That is just that's so stupid. It's just stupid. It's nothing else for that than just stupid and irresponsible. Like, who gets on there? You can have it on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure everyone who's able to get into a club and they like, look, I got to protect myself, will keep it on them. We understand that. Protect yourself. You're a commodity. But to flash it, bro, like, come on, that doesn't make any sense.
But on the other side, and leaving the gun out the equation, obviously, playing devil's advocate, for it to be during the pickup situation, how much are courts going to the courts are jumping glorified on social media with LeBron going out there and getting active in the offseason. So it's starting to get more stuff, like they're playing, they're getting more attraction to the street ball and being able to just play freely, enjoy yourself, right?
I think they're going into it with the mindset of, I'm just going up here to show up and sign some autographs and possibly get a little run in, but not, oh, I need to hoop these young dudes to show them who I am.
Yeah.
But when somebody tests your gangster, when somebody seriously tests your gangster in that
we've seen it. Yeah, we've seen it.
It's real.
Yeah.
Like, as a competitor, as an athlete, like former athlete, when somebody really, it's different when they're playing and it's like, oh, let's get clickbait out of this real quick.
We've seen it, but we haven't seen it $40 million a year.
Yeah.
40,000 a year. We ain't seen it 40 million a year at your peak. And I'm looking at this dude.
Somebody tests you.
But I'm looking at you like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm walking away from that. I'm walking away from it with my $190 million guarantee money. I'm walking. You got it, bro. I'm walking away from it.
Yeah.
But when it's that serious, like I said, we don't know all the details. How far did that kid press? How much did he really say? Like,
$190 million, Jazz.
True.
That's it. I don't know. 190 million.
Right.
This kid can press. He can press like the cleaners. I don't care. I'm not messing with it.
And the thing about it is, Ja Morant's 23 years old. right? Like he's still closer in age to that 17-year-old
He
kid.
is. Mentality as well.
Yeah. So I mean, he'd still like 17-year-old possibly getting ready to be 18, getting ready to go into college. You're 20. There's some 23-year-olds still in college. So when you're in college with that guy, you're in the same umbrella. So you're still in the same age group. So Ja feels like that's his peer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So
$190 million guaranteed.
We can look at that differently.
I'm looking at it differently.
Just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
If it was me, like you said,
The devil would be like, bro, 190 million. We good. Let's get up out of here.
Now, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss University of Colorado head coach Deion Sanders commenting on single-parent, dual-parent homes. I'm excited about this one. Keep it locked in. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service. The Negro League Baseball Museum, proud sponsor of The W Show, is bringing the heat in February. Visit the NLBM for free admission during the month of February, courtesy of the Kansas City Royals and Royals Charities. While you are there, visit the NLBM store for all of your Negro Leagues baseball apparel. Visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, located at 1616 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, or NLBM.com.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Now, Deion Sanders says he looks for dual parent homes and QB recruits, single mama households, and defensive linemen. Let's hear what Coach Prime had to say.
He wins and he comes up. Can you tell who that is just by talking to him now that you're walking in the living rooms and you're seeing more and more and more?
We have different attributes: smart, tough, fast, disciplined with character. Yep. We're looking at now quarterbacks are different.
Yeah.
We want mother, father, dual parent. Mm-hmm. We want that kid to be 3, 5 and up because he's got to be smart. Mm-hmm. Not bad decisions off the field at all, because he has to be a leader of men. It's so many different attributes in what we look for when we see a quarterback. And you would love a coach's son. Somewhere that the coaches coached him, and I'm not going down my road. I see you smiling because I know who your quarterback is right now. He's talking about my son. I didn't just build a template for my son, but that's what really we look for in quarterbacks. Different positions are different. Like O-lineman, I look for dual parent homes, right? A strong father that they adhered to, right? Smart kid, at least 3.3. and above.
You're also describing Hurts.
Yeah, tough.
Well.
Physical. Offensive lineman. Defensive lineman is totally opposite.
What do you mean?
Single mama. Trying to get it. He's on free lunch. I mean, like, I'm talking about just trying to make it. He trying to rescue mama. Like, mama barely made the flight.
Trying to get out the mud.
And I want him to just go get it. It's a whole different attributes that you look for in different positions, and we have that stuff just chronicled. We know what we want, and we go get it.
Deion Sanders here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Oh man, it's funny, but then again, it's in all seriousness. Like I'm upset that a black man kind of glorifies a single parent home. Like to be, I mean, it's there. Like it's been since the beginning of time, but he's glorifying it. And I understand what he means by it. The single parent home kid, and I think the dual parent home kid is. They've gone through some things too. So, I mean, you can have a rough dual parent home kid just as well as you can a single parent home kid.
He wasn't wrong.
He's not.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
I agree with you to an extent on making light of the single parent home. I don't think he was glorifying it. I think he was saying it as relative to those positions, but he's not wrong. We talked about it a little bit earlier with Carter. And that mindset that you have to have on the defensive end. You have to be a dog on that defensive line. You have because you're in the trenches. You're getting hit by 3-4 people from different. It's just a different mentality. I think he was a little more tongue in cheek in his comments. I think they could have been. I don't think they were super distasteful. I think they could have been lightened. But that's Deion, and so he was trying to make light of that. But when you look at what he's saying, as far as the 2-parent home, the studies have shown kids coming out of 2 parents home are usually more successful academically, et cetera, versus a single parent home. But the single parent home, whether it be mother or father, is more of a norm today because 60% of couples are divorced. So what he was saying, I think it was tongue in cheek. I don't agree with, like you said, of making like single moms like. That's the thing. But kids do look at that like, I got to go get it for my mama. So Deion says what a lot of people think, you know what I mean? Like, and we just won't say though.
Yeah. And he's also saying it from that's been the norm for white coaches. For Division I white coaches. Like that's been the norm. We're going to go down here and look on 12th and prospect to see who we can get at Gregg Community Center or wherever.
So why isn't the question? Why isn't the question like you just posed that now?
The demographic.
Exactly. It has to be looked at that. And Deion is shining that light. And on the college football landscape, he's shining that light that is gonna illuminate a lot of things just like that. How do you go and recruit in the inner city versus in the suburbs or the rural areas? And what are you saying to those kids and to those single moms and those households to get those kids there? I mean, he's just like, yo, they've been doing it for years to get our kids. Now you have a black man at the top, and I'm just telling you what it is. I'm not lying to you. This is what it is. And he's pulling those kids. He's flipping coaches now too.
Yeah. But the thing about it, now you're gonna have all these kids. I want to come from a single parent household. That's how I get recruited. I'm the tough kid. If I'm a defensive player and I see what Deion says, like, dang, he ain't gonna recruit me because he gonna think I ain't tough.
But Steve, you and I know we grew up in an era where if you came, we always made fun of the 2-parent homes. You're like, man, you got 3 hots in the cot. You got 2 pens, 2-car garages, 3 meals a day. You got it easy out in Grandview or Raytown. We from Central. We got single parents. We gotta eat the food at school, take the snack home. We thought about this is the 80s, so this is completely different. But now, he's like. And I love that society has shifted to this point to where now let's be straightforward. Let's talk about the things that we wouldn't normally talk about. Right. And because everyone has their opinion about it. Doesn't matter, where you come from.
Yeah. But even then, when he talks about being a leader of men and this comment, the way he went about this in itself was not like you could have alluded more to the dog. Why do you work the way that you do? Where do you come from? Your demographic? Where are we recruiting you at? Versus what the household is structured on. Because like you said, you could have 2 parents that got maybe don't have great jobs or whatever, and so I'm working hard to make up for this. It doesn't have to be because of so and so missing, or it doesn't have to be because of that.
But as a leader of men, you got to shine light on the good and the bad. And so what I look at it as being a coach and a father and a grandfather, literally, is that you got to be able to tell them, hey, these are your choices. These are your crossroad moments. You can have, a kid out of wedlock and have to raise their kids, a single parent, have that, or you can wait. You could do it that way, marry the person you want to be with, and raise your child. So he's giving his guys the game. He's giving them real life. True. I think it's like you say, he could have framed it differently. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he's giving them the real, like, look, man, I done been through this. Yeah. I had kids in XYZ, and I've been married a couple times. You don't want to do this. You know what I mean? So he's leading in that way, and he's being transparent, which a lot of coaches just aren't.
True. Right? Very true. Now, NFL player treatment survey ranking NFL teams has been released. Maybe it has to do with the coaches and how. But who do you think tops the list for team with the best treatment? Where did Chiefs land? How are we feeling about this one?
I mean, I would just say like the Rams would have to be up there. I'm talking about best treatment. Like best the Rams, treatment. You got the new stadium, left St. Louis, so everything's new. And then you got
I say Miami.
Miami. I would say Miami's up there.
In Florida.
The Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, and Las Vegas Raiders are the top teams. And while the bottom three are Los Angeles Chargers, Arizona Cardinals, and Washington Commanders.
Well, we know Washington. That's expected.
Yeah.
LA was kind of shocking to me in the bottom three.
Yeah.
Because of the same thing, like anywhere in Miami or anywhere in Florida. So LA was giving the vibes like, okay, at least I'm in LA, or at least I'm in the Sunshine State.
Yep. And according to NFL Players Association team report cards, the Chiefs ranked 29th out of 32 teams. And so the report said the facility feels outdated and the players would like to see upgrades across the board. Only 56% of respondents believe the club owner, Clark Hunt, is willing to invest the money to upgrade the facility, ranking him 27th in this category.
Wow.
And it said the Chiefs are one of 6 teams that still make certain players have roommates, and less than 50% of the players feel they have enough room to be comfortable on flights. And one of the most surprising parts of the report is that players' views of head trainer Rick Burkhalter. And they said that the report suggests that he does not treat players fairly and consistently or with personal care.
Wow. That was all a shock. When I read those reports, I was surprised that not necessarily that Clark Hunt won't invest, because I believe he will invest. I think
especially after this is bringing light to it.
Exactly. I think he will invest. But I think once the Royals move, I think that'll be an opportunity for them to really make some moves out there at the stadium. I've traveled with the Chiefs before to a few games on their charter with them. It's like they're comparing it to other NFL teams. Now look at it, like they're comparing it to other NFL teams, but it's like they're not uncomfortable. They said they could be more comfortable. So when I look at it from that step, I'm like, oh, you just want, you want what you want, Mink. You want to sit back on Mink.
These are rich people problems.
These are rich people problems.
They want the neck pillow. They want the neck pillow.
Like you didn't get the proper water. Like what is it? You know what I mean? Like sleeping in a room with another grown man. You know, I understand that part. As far as rooming, but then you have to look at the hotels they rent out. Do the hotels have enough? So it's a lot more that goes into that. But I wouldn't want to room with another, in the NFL. The NBA doesn't do it, but they have less players.
Exactly.
You rolling with 80 to 85 people, in your traveling party in NFL. It's just different.
And then some other findings across the board for the other NFL teams. It says 6 teams don't fly players in first class. 7 teams don't arrange for players to have roommates on road trips. 18 of 32 teams offer family rooms in stadiums where families can go with their children. The Philadelphia Eagles offer a stadium family room just for coaches' wives and children, not players' wives.
Well, I mean, that makes you different. I mean, for me, there shouldn't be uniform all throughout the league for that to be in every stadium. It doesn't have to be. Some of it, like you said, is rich people problems, but some of that is just, people whining. To me, is just, we don't have my girlfriend, man. She can't be in a suite, with her friends, and that's we're gonna check that off. Some of that is just being petty. You know what I mean? To me.
And not only that, so there was a report also within this that came out that Kyler Murray has to the team doesn't offer him dinner. They take it out of his check from the stadium. Like if he wants to eat dinner while he's at the facility, they're taking it out of his check each week.
Why? Where does that come from?
That's a part of this report.
They take it out of his check.
They're taking it out of his check. If he wants to eat dinner at the facility, they are taking that meal out of his check.
That doesn't even make sense.
But he can drive up the road and he can flash his face card and he gets a free meal anyway.
Exactly.
That doesn't even make sense, though. I wonder how accurate that is. Because that,
it's part of this. It's a part of this report.
That maybe has something to do with his contract. Then that doesn't even make sense because every professional team, no matter what sport, has meals after the games for their players.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, and I believe it was so. If he's in, let's just say he's meeting, he stays late, working out or whatever, he wants to go up and grab something to eat. If he has someone cooking him some food, they're charging him.
That is unbelievable.
That is crazy.
That's Arizona. Maybe that's why he'd rather go home and play video games.
Exactly. Forget the playbook, yo.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll dive into our Hate or Love It segment. Keep it locked in. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service. The Negro League Baseball Museum, proud sponsor of The W Show, is bringing the heat in February. Visit the NLBM for free admission during the month of February, courtesy of the Kansas City Royals and Royals Charities. While you are there, visit the NLBM store for all of your Negro Leagues baseball apparel. Visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, located at 1616 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, or NLBM.com.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors: classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocery, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want.
And I didn't get to mention this earlier, but I want to say congratulations, man, because you're royalty now. Like, I would have brought you. I would have brought you a gold jacket, man, for real. Because if you guys don't know, Michael Watson is one of the 2023 inductees for the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
What's that feeling like?
It hasn't really sunk in. When I got the call about it, I thought it was a joke. I thought, somebody was playing with me because it was 4 years to the day that my jersey was retired at UMKC. So I'm thinking somebody just is messing around on February 16th. Yeah. So I almost hung up on the, on the CEO of the Hall of Fame. He's like, no, I'm serious. He was like, you've been nominated and we're going to induct you in April. So when he said it, and I got off the phone and my son was right there. And so I got to tell Elijah, and it kind of hit him. I'm like, man, that's something I never even thought about it. You know what I mean? Like I never thought about it. And he was like, the College Hall of Fame is going to be next. He's like, the numbers that you put up when you look at it, he's like, those are historical numbers. And I'm like, I never looked at my career as such. I never, you don't play ball to be put in the Hall of Fame. You play ball to destroy somebody one-on-one, and to talk stuff. So it's a great honor, man. It's something. And then be going in with my classmate, Moona Lee, 2-time Olympian. It's super special, and it shines the light on the city, shines the light on Central High School, and not just Central. I mean, the entire IL. For me, it's just big time, man. I'm super honored.
Yeah, who was the first phone call? What was the first phone call you made after?
The first phone call was to my mom, definitely to Teresa Lynn. And then I text my boys Marcus and Eli and Elvis and just just told them like, hey bro, April 23rd, put it on your calendar. We about to act a fool. So now I gotta get my blue and gold Air Force, Air Jordan 1s. I gotta get my fit ready. You know what I mean for it because it's like a whole thing. Like it's like a bus being made. For Springfield to be put up down there. It's like a big deal, man. Yeah. So it's exciting. I think once I'm up there, I think it'll probably actually hit me then, or and so I'm just looking forward to it and celebrating with my family, man. That's the biggest thing for your kids to be able to see it, because people who are going in, they're like they're 60s and 70s, you know what I mean, and I'm early 40s, and so I'm like, man, it's a great experience, and it's just humbling, bro. We don't do this for that, but to be recognized, man, it's super cool.
And you got the gift of gab, man. So, but are you going to free flow it, your speech, or are you going to write it down?
I'm gonna have to write this one out, bro. Okay. I'm gonna have to write out because it's people who I don't want to miss. People who I want to thank. People who don't get a lot of love around the city. Al Collins Jr. He was the first person to tell me, man, you could play Division I basketball. Like literally, he said you can play it because you have people who tell you can't. So you remember those people. And so he's one of the first people to tell me that. You remember Jack Bush. You remember Coach Brian Ocean, and he's a women's assistant coach at K-State now, but he was the first person to write me a letter from college, from UMKC. That's right back when they wrote letters. It wasn't an email. You had to get a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
He wrote that letter to me, and I never forgot it. It was my first letter. So when I was choosing between, Cal, Iowa, and back then it was Southwest Missouri State, I remember the first person who reached out to me. And I was like, you know what? That's the kind of loyalty he saw as a freshman at an Odessa tournament, a kid he thought could play Division I basketball. So I want to write it out just so I don't forget those people.
That's dope.
Yeah, that is super dope. And talk about like what that means to you being up the road and you like at UMKC local right here in Kansas City.
I was around the corner. Yeah. I grew up around the corner from UMKC. Yeah. Like I could throw a rock across Brush Creek and hit UMKC from my house. That's what I think is big for me because people always say you have to leave the city to make it. And for me, it's important that I was able to do everything I did in my career and stay home and do it. And what I did 25 years ago, literally, I signed at UMKC 25 years ago in 1998. And I'm able to still have those connections and have that network based off of that one decision. I'm still able to run into people, hey, I just come watch your games. Or I'm running into people now who are growing, like I was a kid, I was coming to your games and things like that, and you're able to have that network. And that's why I tell people, like, your net worth is as big as your network, and so that's so important for me. And like I said, it's just humbling because it makes you have to sit back and really look at your career. When basketball players and athletes, you really don't do that. You don't count your, you count your points, so to speak. You just kind of, go through and it's over. But now you have opportunity to kind of look back at what they're doing at the Hall of Fame. They make it like it's the, like it's the Naismith Hall of Fame. They make it so big. So you feel it, you feel like it's big time. And when they roll the numbers out and you see like Steph Curry, you see JJ Redick, you see, all these greats in college basketball, and then your name is on that list, it's a great experience.
Now, what would you tell, because you're over 40, right? Like what would the 40-year-old Michael Watson tell the 18-year-old Michael Watson?
That is an amazing question, bro. I would tell him to slow down. I would tell him to slow down. I would tell him to take more pictures. I would tell him to live in the moment more, because at that time I was just chasing. I was chasing the dream. I didn't have friends. I alienated a lot of people because my goal and my priority was the league. It was to make money playing basketball since the 7th grade. And so I didn't have friends. I didn't really go out and do those kind of things. I had like 2 friends. They were my cousins. You know what I mean? And so because I was so focused on, the grind, but when I look back on it, now I'm here, and so that focus and that sacrifice back then paid off. But I would definitely tell my younger self, to slow down, man. Just enjoy the moment while you have it, because you never get it. You don't miss the moments until they're gone. And so I would tell my younger self that for sure.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Thank you, my guy.
We'll be
there. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Now we got to dive into our sneakers of the week. We can take a quick break. I think you got to get out of here. We'll be right back in just a second.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live. It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Rapid fire sneakers of the week this week. We got the Air Jordan 5 UNCs.
Love them. Need them.
Need them. Nike Air Zoom Generation first game. Mid.
Yep.
Mid. Undefeated Nike Air Force One low pink primes. These are my favorite this week.
Love them.
Yep. And Fly Streetwear Nike SB Dunk Lows.
Nope.
Yes,
Nope.
I'll give it a yes, but we can talk about it later.
All right. We appreciate everyone who joined in on today's show. Thank you to our guests. Crazy we can say he's a guest now. Michael Watson, congratulations again. Missouri Sports Hall of Fame nominee. We gonna be back next week with a lot more heat. We coming for everyone. We're coming. The W Show. Steve Walls, Jasmine Palmer, Broderick Burst. We'll be back next week. We out.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.